Yeah, hello everybody. I'm as you can see from my background, I'm kind of like in a hotel room here. So sorry about that. But I'm trying to give you a very great talk. You don't need to see me actually, only my screen. I am trying to share that now. Maybe there's a permission issue, but let me see. Can you? Yeah, you should see it, right? I can see it as well. You could see my terminal, right? Is it working? Yes. Okay, there's a yes in the chat. Okay. So I have no slides. I want to share some thoughts and show you a little bit about permission management and how to actually be able to run agents more safely than you are probably doing at the moment. Not sure what your favorite tool is that you're using. Mine is in this example Claude Code. You've probably seen a lot of different tools today, but yeah, I'm at the moment using Claude Code a lot. And just to give you a quick example how this works, if you haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure you have. But let me just in any case just open Claude. This is how it looks. And then you can like ignore the failing MCP server, doesn't really matter. And then you can just say, see that there are different modes here. You can plan stuff, you can just ask stuff, or you can auto accept edit. Let me just quickly see if it works. What is this project about? And in a few seconds, he would like tell us a little bit about the project that I brought with me to actually show you the features here. Okay, so he's kicking off sequential thinking, whatever, why. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but okay. So you can see there's an answer here with the information about this project. Doesn't really matter. I just wanted to show you that the setup is working and he's able to use Claude Code here. So, and whenever I want to make edits, I can go into this auto accept edit mode, right? And then he's going to allow some tools to write or read files, for example, but other tools that he's going to run in the bash are not allowed. And he's going to ask me on whether it's okay to run that or not. And this is kind of getting annoying when you are using these tools a lot and you want to make them run on their own a lot, right? And you want to go away, do something else, and not always check back at your windows and say, yeah, that you are allowed, you are allowed, you are allowed. So basically what you want to do is you want to run Claude in, let me do it manually, in like a dangerously, oh, what the fuck. I'm going to do it like this. So I have this quick alias here called Claude, which is basically doing this, dangerously skip permissions. And whatever tool you're using, every tool, every agent has something like that, some way of using this dangerously skip permission mode. And then you kind of have this mode here to skip every permissions. And that is quite dangerous, right? So so if you do something now, you don't really know what Claude is going to do, right? So it could just delete any files of your system. It could delete like anything that you have worked on. It could actually also happen to me, delete the whole Git history and force push it. So that was kind of bummer because like without a Git history, kind of bad. So what you want to do is you want to kind of like create an environment where this thing is not doing something that it's not supposed to do. And yeah, one way to do that is just don't use it and stick to the old way. But when sticking to the old way, you need to configure a lot. Just as an example, here in the settings JSON of Claude, you would probably need to configure a lot of permissions that this thing is actually allowed to do, right? So copy command is allowed, Python is allowed, and so on. And it's just going to keep to ask and add on top of that. So basically, you would need to know all the stuff that you want to call in advance, or you would always need to accept and accept and accept, and this whitelist is going to grow and grow and grow. But I don't really like this approach. I kind of like think that at a certain point, or you should create an environment where the agent can just YOLO and run and do whatever it wants to do, but not in a way that my computer gets completely wiped. So there are actually ideas on how to do that. So one is just back up your computer a lot. So it's a MacBook here in my case, and it's backing up like every hour. So not that bad. If something goes missing, I can just recreate it from backup. But that's still also like quite a lot of work to do to just reset the whole computer. That's why some very smart people came up with the idea of creating a Docker container. So just what the hell? Just like this is the URL for the repository, which is called ClaudeBox. And the idea of ClaudeBox is kind of similar to Dev Containers. If you've heard of Dev Containers, I will tell you a little bit more about Dev Containers later as well. But the idea of ClaudeBox is to provide an environment in Docker that you are able to work in the Docker container. And this Claude CLI tool is just contained in the container, not able to break out of it, so that your computer is not getting wiped. And this tool is actually pretty easy. I mean, you can look at the GitHub page when you want to know how to install it. I just want to give it a quick demo. So what you can do is you can run ClaudeBox, and ClaudeBox will work quite similar to Claude, only that this one sets up a Docker container. So yeah. So as you can see here, if I start it up, it now tells me that there's no available slot. So what does it mean? When we look at our Docker images, we can see that there is actually a ClaudeBox core image here and a specific ClaudeBox image for another one of my projects, but there is none for this particular project I'm in. So you can see that because it says like Hackers and Wizards and demo in it, and this one here is for Hackers and Wizards, BenediktStemmildt.com for my website. So yeah, I can also like see existing slots. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong. Now he kicked off the warp agent. And for this project, there is no slot available. So I just need to create one. And that is what we are going to do here. And now he created a slot. And this one is unauthenticated. That means that my Claude code is not authenticated there yet. But it kind of like created a slot for us that we can use. So when I use ClaudeBox now, it should find a slot. And yeah, as you can see here, it is kind of starting up the environment. And as it's in Docker, and it's kind of like downloading some stuff. And here we go. We have a fresh Claude code instance with no settings whatsoever. So let me just configure it. And here you can see that I need to subscribe now. I will do that. So this is not going to work, opening the browser, because that is in the container. So what I need to do is I need to copy that thing here, open it in my browser. You will not be able to see that because I'm doing it in the background. And then it gives you a key, and then you can just add the key here and press OK. And then you are basically logged in here. Logged in was successful. Yeah, this is like the standard security node in the beginning of Claude code. And then you need to allow to use this existing settings that are here. And here we go. Finally, we have our ClaudeBox ready. And as you can see, it looks exactly the same. So let me just like clear here, do ClaudeBox. You will see that it actually just looks like Claude code that we've seen before. And we still have only these 3 modes here. But I can just use ClaudeBox with dangerously skip permissions. So it has like all arguments are passed to Claude basically. Yeah, let me clear it again. Needed to allow it to do that. Not that important, but yeah, now we have this dangerously skip permissions mode here again. And yeah, this is running in the Docker container. So when I open a new terminal window here, we can see that there's actually a container running at the moment. And in this container, this Docker, this Cloud Code CLI is now running in. So every time this thing tries to break out, it's not able to do that because in this Docker container, there's a lot of configurations regarding network is blocked, file access is blocked, and so on. It can only access the stuff that is in the Docker container. And the only thing that is mounted is basically my project's code. So if we ask it, what is this project about? It will tell it to me again because it has kind of like mounted and copied the current project in here. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but yeah, as you can see here, it like gives a little bit of a different output, like always. But yeah, and then there's an interesting thing here. There's an error because AF play was not found. So what is going on here? When we see, let me open a new terminal window. When we look into my configuration of Cloud Code, we will see that I have a hook configured here. Hooks are basically in Cloud Code a way to kind of, if there's something happening in Cloud Code, you can just say what is going to happen if that happens, right? So event is something like a notification or the stop when Cloud Code is done. You can tell them to do something like a command. And I told him to play a sound. I find that like really helpful when I'm doing a little bit of multiple coding and multiple Cloud instances, or even just one, and I have it in the background, and I want to know when it's done. I can hear the sound, and then I know it's finished. And it uses AF Play for that. That's a command that is available on MacBooks. But this Cloud box is running in this Docker container on a Linux machine, so this thing doesn't really exist. So this hook is not going to work in here. And all other commands are also not going to work. Like, for example, node. Okay, node is working. So it seems to have node in the Docker container. But what about Java? Okay, so Java. No Java in the Docker container. So if I have a project working on Java code, it does not have that in the ClaudeBox. Yeah, so now I have these types of issues, like running it safely in YOLO mode means like running it safely in this virtual computer box. And now I need to set up this virtual computer box to include all the tools that I need. And also for that, there is a, let me quickly grab that out of my notes. There is a way to do that. You can actually set up a profile for ClaudeBox. So let me go out of here again. You can use this profile command, and with profile, oh, sorry. Sometimes he's kicking off the agent mode here in the terminal. You can actually see that there are profiles or there are no profiles. And you can actually also write your own profiles, but ClaudeBox provides some for you as well that you can use. For example, it has Java or JavaScript. So yeah, basically we can add Java. Oh my God, sorry. The detection here is not very good. Okay, we can add Java, and okay, so as you can see on the next run, he will rebuild the Docker container and add Java to it. So let's see if that actually is going to happen. Okay, this time I'm going to invoke the terminal by hand. Okay, so as you can see, it now tries to install it, and for some reason, it's probably because I'm kind of like, I don't know why, but update to, okay. So for some reason it's failing, but doesn't really matter, because what I wanted to show you is that that you can actually configure this kind of like environment to suit your needs and to be able to install all of the CLI tools that you need in this container. And one last thing that I wanted to mention or show you is that this is actually not only helpful for the YOLO mode to contain it in the Docker container, but if you know Dev containers, this is also quite helpful to share your development environment. Because what is currently happening is you are setting up the environment for yourself, right? And if you are working in a team, your teammates will probably also want to have the same environment that you have, and also be able to run Claude Code like you do in the same setup with the same MCP servers, same agents, and also same available CLI tools on the machine. And this is not related specifically to AI, or not really something new. Like, developers want that for a while now. And a few years ago, someone kind of came up with the idea of having something called a Dev Containers. And a Dev Container is basically something very similar to this ClaudeBox. It is a container where you can that you can use to run all your language servers of VS Code in there. So you are on the local OS, you are basically using only the UI and the visual representation of VS Code or any other IDE, like we've seen with Claude Code. It's a little bit different there. And in the background, you can see there's the language server and the computation and everything. The running application and so on is running in the container. And the very interesting thing here now is that you can actually set up Dev containers by creating a file inside. So let me see if I can find it here. Sorry. You can here, as you can see here, you can set up a Dev container JSON file inside your repository. So basically in the root directory of your project. And you can configure the environment here that you want to use to run this project, or to be able to develop this project. And most IDEs support this JSON file. And the second they see it, and you kind of like want to work with it. For example, you open Visual Studio Code and it realizes there's a Dev container file. It then boots up the setup like described here, that it boots up the VS Code in the container and showing you only the front end. And you can combine this with the Claude box now. So you can use instead of like here, use this image, you can use your ClaudeBox image. There's actually also an attached extension for Dev containers to work specifically with ClaudeBox. And then everybody who will open the project will immediately, when they run it, they will immediately have the setup of using Claude Code with all the available MCP servers and so on. And that's quite helpful to work as a team and to work safely in this contained environment. Yeah, that is basically what I wanted to show you. And I hope I'm not too far out of the time box, not too fast. But if you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, I'm very happy to answer a few of them or to show you something more.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right, Benedikt. Thank you very much. I do have a couple questions for you here. Let me change the view here, and then, okay. Can you share any real-world stories you've heard about where an AI agent became a security issue?
So I don't know like how to specifically view security issue, right? But a real world example is that for me, when I'm using this dangerously skip permissions mode, I often encounter the issue that it tries to delete files or move files around that would destroy my my current computer, right? So that happens a lot because it at a certain point, it kind of sometimes goes into a wrong direction, then creates a temporary file in the temp folder, and then it says, well, now let's delete the temp folder, and like everything is going to shits. I wouldn't say that this is like specifically security issue in terms of someone else is trying to hack your computer and get out stuff. But yeah, this is what I see a lot. That's why I'm quite fond of this ClaudeBox setup. And I've read stuff in our local online news feeds where people were able to extract user data and so on, but I haven't specifically seen that myself. It's only from the news. Yeah.
Sure, makes sense. All right, one more question. It might be a little broad here, but we will go for it. How should I approach data privacy when agents interact with proprietary code or customer data? So really more in the like kind of integration realm of AI, not necessarily coding with AI.
Yeah, this is a topic that I'm quite familiar with because I'm working with clients here in Germany to help them use these tools for their own developers, for the departments. And a lot of them have this concern as well, right? Because Germany is like big on data privacy, which is totally good. And we kind of not try to like use Anthropic Claude Code without any restrictions or anything else. So there are a lot of ways to do that, right? You could use Google Cloud or AWS to run your own inference models there. You could even run the Claude models there. Then you could use your own hardware, right? And then there are already some governance tools that will help you kind of restrict who is allowed to access which models. For example, there's a tool called Light LLM, which helps you to do that. Also budgeting.
Could you
in
spell
terms
that
of,
for us, Benedikt?
Oh yeah, Light LLM. I can paste it in the chat as well. No problem. It's a governance tool on like for adding guardrails and for adding budgets so that individuals are not able to overshoot the budgets and so on. Yeah, I mean, if you are running it on your own hardware, then you don't have this proprietary data problem because it's your own hardware. And these models are actually also working quite well. If you are, I mean, you can't run Claude Code on your local hardware, but you could use Kimi K2 or something. They are quite good. The newest version from a few days ago even said to surpass Sonnet or Opus. Not sure. Yeah, I mean, it's always like you know, like yeah, that's
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of
sometimes
ideas.
isn't always like a very straightforward thing. Right?
Yeah, not really. Yeah. It depends also on the specific use case and whatever. And yeah, and there are other tools like Open Router or Open Router that you could use together with Open Code to then also route your prompts to different LLMs in the background, right? So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But this is also not that stable. So there's a lot of like changing in tools and so on. Yeah, that's my take on that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So any of those tools that you just mentioned, Benedikt, that if you have links to it, if you could throw that in the chat.
Oh yeah, sure.
That would be excellent. But once again, thank you so very much for being here. And yeah, man, great talk. Really enjoyed having you.